back to the Tucker Paulson Show. The Houston Astros came out of the closet as woke yesterday when they bent the knee to false President Joe Biden in the White House. And now they're in danger. By walking into noted Phillies fan Comrade Biden's house, they're opening themselves up to more potential witch hunts. You thought jealous baseball owners were mad about the cheating allegations? Well, just wait until the geriatric in chief makes the Astros the center of investigations into January 6th. Just wait until President Biden says that his son's laptop actually belonged to Jose Altuve, or that cocaine found in the White House was actually the late Ken Caminiti's. What is happening? What is going on? I'll tell you what's going on. In Führer Biden's America, you never know when you'll be made the fall guy for a failing administration. So the Astros did go to the White House yesterday. And I really only have one observation. And this is not meant to be political. But boy, Joe Biden seems old. Here he is talking about Dusty Baker. And while talking about Dusty Baker, he also said that, Dusty's not the only one that gets criticized for his age.
Remarkable achievements led by, and this is not hyperbole, the legendary Dusty Baker. Worst part was I remember rooting for him as a kid, and I was older than he was. Dusty, it wasn't easy. People counted you out saying you're past your prime. Hell, I know something about that. I know something about that.
He kept the laughter going a little too long. But he did, at the very least, remember the jokes that his speechwriters wrote for him there. Those were solid, right? Where he's saying, one, that, I was older than Dusty Baker as a kid, and I grew up rooting for him. And the other one there. But again, there's a part of me that after watching this press conference yesterday that feels like, I don't know, Dusty Baker's really got a lot of pep in his step. And honestly, I wouldn't mind the guy still being the manager after this year. Here's more of the president.
That's what we want to do. That's what you did. You did it for a whole lot more. Yes, sports is about winning, but it's a lot more than that. The best, it lifts people up, it brings them together, it helps them be there for each other. I was honored to host the 2022 Houston Astros here at the White House. And by the way, congratulations. I didn't even say that part yet.
No. Look, I'll stop with the low-hanging fruit. My big issue is it bums me out that there are as many elected officials in our government that are that age. And we're seeing a lot of them have moments where they're not throwing their fastball anymore, right? Like we had it with Mitch McConnell the other day.
He was literally throwing nothing. he was not throwing anything.
He's just there. Anyway, Dusty Baker, on the other hand, Dusty Baker's still got his fastball going. And of course, he's 74. Joe Biden is 80. But he talked about how this clubhouse loves each other before making a nifty little guarantee for the end of the year.
And they had each other with unwavering support for each other and love for each other. I mean, I think that is probably one of the biggest things that this team has compared to other teams that I've been in the past, is that they genuinely loved each other. And when I asked the late Bill Russell what was the keys to the Celtics, whom I didn't like very well, he told me that they loved each other. 2022 was never about one individual. It was about a group of men coming together to accomplish something very special for this city that supported them. I love them all. You've got to love each and every one of them, and it's only a way to come together in a special feeling that is tough to describe and hard to repeat, but we plan on repeating exactly that feeling.
Hell yeah. And we feel pretty good about their chances. The Astros begin a series with the Baltimore Orioles tonight. And for those who maybe aren't paying attention to the entirety of baseball this year, the Orioles have probably been the best story in the sport. That might change a little bit when we talk about something that they did to somebody who is one of my friends, but 70-42. They lead the American League East over the Tampa Bay Rays, who had that ridiculous start to the year, by 3 games. They've won 8 of their last 10. What they've done this year has truly been awesome, especially for people that are fans of teams that stink. And that brings us back to Dusty Baker, because this is why we like Dusty Baker. I'm a fan of Dusty Baker. I am. Yes, like with many managers, we have questions about the lineup from time to time. But I think a lot of the people that are stressing about it online every day are low-key losers. Like, get a life. It's difficult to juggle what he had to juggle with all the injuries. And it's not his fault that guys like Jose Abreu and Jeremy Pena have struggled to the degree that they have this year, when there's not really an everyday option you can put in their place in that lineup to fix things. But this line from Dusty Baker talking about the next series for the Houston Astros, a series in Baltimore that begins tonight, is the best.
And we're in the middle of making it happen right now. Coming off a great series in New York, heading into a big series in Baltimore, probably the biggest series that Baltimore has had in a while. But hey, I'm known to be honest, you know. No harm intended.
Don't you love that Dusty Baker, who, as the president even said, I want to say, what, 10 minutes ago, in that little speech that he gave introducing all of the heroes of the 2022 Astros, said that everybody in baseball was rooting for Dusty Baker. A lot of people across the United States were rooting for Dusty if they couldn't figure out a way to root for the Astros. Don't you love that Dusty's been touched by the evil, and even he's joining in and being a heel? And he does it in an affable, likable way. But I love that. I saw the tweet about him saying that, and I was like, I want to hear this. And he knew exactly what he was doing. He even did the dramatic pause afterwards, as if he were a stand-up comic, to let it really just marinate in the air. And then he goes back like, listen, I'm just honest. I love it. What a great defense, and what a great shot taken. Now, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little nervous about this series. This is perhaps a preview of a future playoff series for the Astros. I want to know just how good this Orioles team actually is. But I love that shot from Dusty Baker. The confidence. It's fantastic. And he's right. The Orioles haven't played a big series like this against a real American League team. We're talking about the Astros here, and God knows how long.
Do you think that these comments, if the Orioles see it, they might ruffle some feathers?
Noted little P-boy, John Angelos, who Wikipedia has listed at 4'9". I don't know if that's true, because you can edit height on Wikipedia.
There's no way he's 4'9".
I hope to God it's true. There's nothing, because here's the only thing in life that you could potentially have on a rich person. It's if you're taller than them. That's all you have. So if a rich person ever talks poorly to you, if you happen to have like average height and that person's a wee lad, it's the only comeback you have. And guess what? They will be so angry inwardly when you point out the fact that they're a little P-boy. Now, again, I don't know what John Angelos' height is. I will say this. John Angelos, the owner of the Orioles, and we'll talk about this in the next hour, because I don't want to make this entirely a show of where I can air my petty grudges against people. I don't like it when people mess with my friends. You can mess with me, But Kevin Brown, who was also the voice of the Home Run Derby this year, super talented ESPN broadcaster, one of the first people I met when I went to Syracuse University. We've been in a fantasy football league together for the last 12 years. This is a great dude. And he said nothing wrong. He basically just pointed out, yeah, the Orioles have struggled against the Rays at a historic level until this season. And then it changed. And they suspended him for it. And we've talked about John Angelos before because this is the same guy who in the middle of a press conference once said, I'm not going to answer questions because it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We don't need to play the audio yet. I'm just saying it's great to see owners of poor franchises who also are extremely thin-skinned exposed. In baseball in particular, because baseball owners are largely anonymous. They get to hide by being anonymous because the vast majority of American sports fans couldn't tell you who the owner is of a baseball team that's not in their city. Some diehard baseball fans, I think, do know it. John Angelos is exposing himself as a baby and an ass. And I do hope that the Astros absolutely murder the Orioles over the next couple of days. Not because it will do anything for my friend Kevin. It's more because I just want John Angelos to realize just how little a man he is.